Hello, teachers and students, and 6E. How are you today? I'm fine, thank you, and I hope you are also good, and we shall begin our lesson. Right, be seated, please. Who can tell me how many layers are there in there? How many layers are there? How many layers of the earth? What's the mic? Okay, we'll have the first hand up.
Four.
There are 4 layers. Good. There are 4 layers of the earth, and the first one that covers the whole earth, which is the surface of the earth, is called the crust. Good. We have the crust, the mantle, the outer core, and the inner core. All right. We looked at the crust, which is the top layer of the earth. The crust is the top layer of the earth, which is the first layer. What can you tell me about the crust? What is on top of the crust? Let's have some answers. What do you find on the earth's crust? What do we find on the earth's crust? On air? Okay, good. On air, we'll have on air, then we'll have Robert.
Rocks.
We can find rocks. On the earth's crust, we can find rocks. What else? Robert, anyone else? Robert, then we have lacquer. On the earth's crust, what do we find? So Onia said we can find rocks. The earth's crust is rocks.
Solid rocks.
Rocks, solid rocks. Lacquer. Then we have lacquer, please. Then we have minerals. Find minerals. We have Melissa.
Seafloor.
Seafloor. What's made up of the seafloor? You have the sea floor. So what's on the sea floor? What do you find on the sea floor? Or? Yes, thank you for those answers. Come on, come on. There are many things you walk by every day. You dive into the river and into the sea. You walk
Sand.
sand. Thank you, Oa. On the Earth's crust we have sand. What else do we have? We're thinking very hard. Emmanuel?
Soil.
Soil. Very good. We have soil. Any more? The last one. Okay. Antonia. All right, we'll have Antonia. Yes, Antonia. Antonia is still thinking her group. Okay. You'll give us. You want to give us the answer now, or are you still thinking? All right. Thank you, Anthony. Anthony lost her answer. All right. Let's look at some of these things that your friends mentioned. So, as to the board, we have rocks, solid rocks, minerals, seafloor, sand, and soil. Now, the Earth's crust. The Earth's crust. The cover of the Earth's crust is one of these 6 things that your friends have named out, mostly covered by one of the 6 things. So, the Earth's crust, today we'll be looking at this. What is it, class? Soil. Soil. So our topic for today is types of soil. Number 1. So we will look at the types of soil. Now, soil takes millions of years to form. And it is the covering of the Earth's crust, of which we use every day. So today our topic will be on soil. The first lesson. All right, let me see some use. I'll give you 1 minute to discuss with you in your groups. In your groups. Use of soil. 1 use of soil. What do you use soil for? What is soil used for? Oh, that's fast discussion. Melissa? I said 1 minute, but some of you have already discussed the answer. Melissa, good. Then we have Onea's group.
Soil is used for gardening.
Onea, what have your group come up with?
We use soil to do clay pot.
Making clay pots, good. Very good. The group, Oa and his group. Oa and the group, and then we have Vanessa and the group. 1 from each group. Coming up. Analolo, what has your group come up with? Vanessa, your group, what has your group come up with? Someone in your group to answer? Okay, Vicky from the group.
Soil is used for planting flowers.
Okay, planting flowers. All right, there are many things which we can use soil for. And here are a few: for gardening, for planting flowers, for making clay pots, for making bricks for houses, making cement, getting cement out of, or some people use it for different color of soils to do their painting, which is a form of art. All right, today we'll be doing a little bit of more on finding about what soil is made of. So here, our activity today we'll be using some of these things. We have transparent glass bottles, and we have soil, dry soil, and 6 glass bottles, which will be working in a group of 6. So please clear out your tables first. Clear out your tables first. Here are some newspapers, waste papers. There are some waste papers which you will be using. Take about 2 pages each and pass to the back. Two pages each, and I mean for the group. 2 pages for the group and pass to the back. Take 1 bottle each and pass to the back. Once you get the newspaper, you spread it in front of your group on the table. Take 1 and pass to the back. Use that to place your, because you'll be using soil. All right, listen carefully. The papers will be placed in front of your desk, and you will be placing the bottles on the paper. We do not want to spill the soil and water on the table, so those are the use of the paper. So put that away. Hurry up. All right. Now each member you will remain seated because the things will be passed to you. This is your first instruction for your activity. Are we ready? Okay. We will start with the soil. Now, if the mouth of your bottle is narrow, like this group here, if the mouth of the bottle is narrow, you need to be careful when pouring the soil in. So you will need to use something, a paper, or somehow to fit in there. So I will leave the challenge with you. If you find it difficult, then you may raise your hands up. But firstly, your activity number 1, your first instruction. Read your instruction and follow that. Yeah, something like that, so do that. Because you're going to use the jug and pass that up. You fill yours up and pass that up. Yeah. Someone, okay, then in that case, move it close to him. Nah? Start. Now the next group will be waiting for the jug to pull that. So what is your first instruction? Fill jar or bottle 3/4 full with water. Just open the lid. Fill it 3/4. You know what 3/4 can be? Estimation of 3/4 of the bottle. Divide the length of the glass to 4/4. You know what 3/4? Okay. 3/4 of the glass. Good. Now you can add soil and pass it to the next one. Don't worry about, remove the stones, you just need the soil on it. Hey, I left it somewhere. I forgot. I'll check. You know how to do that? Three-quarters. Is it 3/4 of water? It's here on camera. So do it correctly. 3/4. You know maths? Do you do your maths? Okay, what is 3/4? Where is 3/4? 3/4 of the empty bottle, not the jug. Fill it up 3/4. If I tell you to fill half, where is half of this bottle? Where is half? Past half, and then plus another quarter is 3/4. Do not count that on the jar. You must see that. Okay, you can do that. Yeah, that's another way, but you need to get 3/4 quickly. This is different volume. This is different volume. Estimate. You estimate 3/4 from the empty jar. You're wasting your time. Pass. Until you know where 3/4 is, pass it down. Make up your mind. You must be confident. You don't think twice. Your instruction there. Fill 3/4 of water in this bottle. 3/4. Where is 3/4 on this bottle? Not this jug. 3/4 of this jug. Where is 3/4 of this jug? Fill the water up to 3/4 of the jug. Okay, that's 3/4. Is it okay? Okay, that's fine. Okay, next group. Three quarters. That's not 3/4. Up. 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 Okay. Why are you waiting? You need the second part of the instruction. A little more. For a little more. More. Okay. All right. You have done the first two instructions. So, continuous shake for 2 minutes. Leave the stones, just get the soil. And do that quickly. Just leave the newspapers there and just leave them. Okay. Finish? Scoop with that. No. Gently, okay. Give it to the next group. The next two instructions, you cover the lid and shake for 2 minutes, then place it on your table and observe. Be careful. Yeah, that's the use of the paper. Otherwise, okay, good. That's it. That's all. When you shake, you don't stop. Let it settle. Already 2 minutes. Did you time yourself? No. I hope you're shaking it with the scientific thinking. Because if you're doing it the wrong way, I'll cut off your ears. You timing yourself? Yes or no? You time. Shake the container for 2 minutes. Okay. Somebody should time. Who's timing? Place the lid on. Place the lid on and shake it for 2 minutes. I know. I missed a word there. Thank you. But are you timing what you're doing? So you should be timing yourself for 2 minutes. All groups have finished? Once you place it on the table, you do not remove or touch the bottle container again. Leave it there and do not touch. What is it? Cannot fit. Yeah, just hold the plastic and shake. Don't move the table also. Okay, almost. Observe what's happening. What do you find? What's at the bottom, what's there, and what is at the top? Okay, good. Some groups are getting their results. What do you think is at the bottom? And then there's another layer. And then there's... What do you think? Can you see the difference between the layers that have been formed? You finish? Oops, sorry. What can you tell me? What can you tell me? All right, your activity, your next activity. Draw a diagram. Container. All right. Copy down the questions as your homework. I will leave this as your homework. You will draw a diagram of your observation. Now that you have observed, these bottles be placed carefully at the back of your classroom, which you will look at. So you have to label the bottle for your group. And we will check that in our next lesson. But before we conclude our lesson, I would like each of you to look at the bottle again and tell me or describe to me what have you seen in the bottle. What has formed? For now, the liquid is becoming clearer, and that you can see something different at the first time you placed the soil into. So have a look at that and give me a description of your observation, or tell the class a description of your observation. So we have, first hand up, the group from Melissa's group, discussions from Melissa's group. So who's going to give us? So Melissa, your hands up. So you, okay, we'll have Melissa and then, oh, we have Rodney first, then we have Rodney. Okay, listening what Rodney and the group have discussed, and description of what the description of their observation. Okay, Rodney, thank you. Don't touch. Rodney.
The water turned to brown. The water turned to brown.
The water turned to brown. Yes. Good. Thank you. What else? What else? The water turned to brown. Jason? Of course, you will see that most of your containers, the water tends to brown. The color of the liquid tends to brown. What about the soil itself? Okay, Jason?
Heavy mineral particles sank and may form layers of soil.
Yes, Jason? Loudly and clearly.
Heavy mineral particles sank and may form layers of soil.
Heavy, okay, heavy minerals. Wow, that's mineral particles. Sank in the water, right. And form Thank you, Jason, for that very good description. Any others would like to give us a description? Okay, we'll come back to Melissa and their group again. They need to add on. Yes, Melissa?
The soil settled at the bottom of the bottle.
Soil settled. Okay, bottle. All right, let's have the three answers. You have a lot of descriptions, good, but we'll look at the three. The first one is water turned to brown. When you shook the water container containing water and soil, the liquid turned to brown. And you also found after a few minutes when you placed it onto the table that heavy mineral particles or heavy particles of the soil sank and formed layers of the soil. Now have a look closely at that. They form layers. Can you see layers on the in your? Can you form layers in the content? Can you see layers of soil from your container of soil and water? Okay, if you look closely, there are different types of layers. So right at the bottom, you will see the different sizes of particles of soil. And then there's the next layer, which is almost very, very fine. And then there's water, and at the top surface of the water, what do you find? Dirt. Some are saying dirt. Where does this dirt come from? What is this dirt made of? Soil. But the soil sank. So what is floating at the top? Rubbish, dirt. From where does this rubbish or dirt come from? From the soil. But before that, where was it? What is it anyway? What is that rubbish? Waste from what? Very good. Waste from plants and animals. So, I will leave that with you. We will finish off here, but do not forget your homework, that you are going to draw the diagram and label what you have seen in your little activity, soil activity. So our summary is and our next summary point and our key phrase today is we look at soil. Our next lesson topic is types of soil. Lesson number 2. Our materials that you will need to provide are the following. Teachers, please provide the following, and students, please make sure that you collect some of these materials to help your teachers for the next lesson. All right, with that, thank you, class, and thank you, students and teachers, for your participation.